Thank you for watching this animated video showcasing how the proposed landscape for your center island may grow in over 3 to 5 years. The landscape is depicted through all 4 seasons. The video begins with an overview, followed by a closer look at the function and design of 6 different plant combinations. Every plant featured is part of one of these carefully curated groupings. The goal of this landscape and hardscape design is to create a striking focal point, one that serves as the centerpiece of your home site. The waterfall feature, along with the selected plants, is designed to reflect and enhance the richness of the surrounding natural environment with the intent of helping to integrate your home into it. Now, let's look in detail at each of the 6 planting combinations as they transition through each of the seasons. Amelanchier grandiflora, common name apple serviceberry, Carex pennsylvanica, or Pennsylvania sedge, and Leucothea fontanesiana, common name drooping leucothea, create a layered, wildlife-friendly planting with year-round interest and complementary textures. Carex pennsylvanica blooms first in spring, with subtle flowers that give way to soft, arching foliage forming a semi-evergreen ground cover that helps retain moisture and suppress weeds. Amelanchier grandiflora follows with clouds of delicate white flowers that support early pollinators, later producing edible berries that attract birds. Leucothea fontanesiana contributes year-round structure with glossy, evergreen foliage that takes on bronze to burgundy hues in winter. Their root systems are well matched. Carex spreads shallowly, while Amelanchier and Leucothea establish deeper roots without competition. Leucothea fontanesiana was traditionally valued for its flexible branches, which were sometimes used in basket making. All 3 species offer excellent deer resistance. Allium cernuum, common name nodding onion, Carex pennsylvanica, or Pennsylvania sedge, and Elymus hystrix, or bottlebrush grass, create a visually interesting, ecologically valuable planting with layered textures and seasonal interest. Carex pennsylvanica blooms first in spring, though its flowers are subtle with arching foliage that forms a soft, semi-evergreen ground cover, helping to suppress weeds and retain soil moisture. Allium cernuum follows in early to mid-summer, producing graceful, nodding pink flowers that attract bees and butterflies. Elymus hystrix blooms in mid to late summer, sending up distinctive, bottlebrush-like seed heads that persist into fall and offer texture and wildlife habitat. Their root systems are highly compatible. Carex spreads shallowly. Allium's bulbs tuck neatly into the ground, and Elymus forms deeper, clumping roots. All 3 species are well suited for deer-resistant, low-maintenance plantings in shady to part shade settings. Ethereum filix femina, common name lady fern, Carex pennsylvanica, or Pennsylvania sedge, and Tiarella cordifolia, or foam flower, create a soft-textured, ecologically beneficial planting that thrives in shade to part shade. Carex pennsylvanica blooms first in early spring, with subtle flowers that give way to fine, arching foliage, forming a semi-evergreen ground cover that helps suppress weeds and hold moisture. Tiarella cordifolia blooms in mid to late spring, sending up delicate spikes of foamy white flowers that attract early pollinators, with its attractive foliage persisting through the growing season. Ethereum filix femina unfurls shortly after, its feathery green fronds providing height and graceful movement throughout summer. Their root systems work well together. Carex and Tiarella spread shallowly by rhizomes and runners, while Ethereum forms a compact clump. All three species are deer-resistant and contribute to a lush, low-maintenance woodland garden. Carex pennsylvanica, common name Pennsylvania sedge. Iris verticillata, commonly referred to as blue flag iris, and Osmundastrum cinnamomium, or cinnamon fern, create a lush, wildlife-friendly planting ideal for wet areas in shade to part shade. Carex pennsylvanica blooms first in early spring with subtle flowers and soft, arching foliage that forms a semi-evergreen ground cover, helping to suppress weeds and stabilize moist soils. Ilex verticillata blooms in mid-spring, producing delicate, violet-blue flowers that brighten the woodland floor and attract early pollinators. Osmundastrum cinnamomium sends up its cinnamon-colored fertile fronds in spring, followed by large, bright green sterile fronds that provide bold texture all season long. Their root systems complement each other. Carex's shallow fibrous roots, Iris's rhizomes, and Osmundastrum's deep fibrous roots coexist smoothly. All three species are deer resistant and well suited to shaded woodland habitats. Carex pennsylvanica, common name Pennsylvania sedge, and Allium cernuum, or nodding onion, create a graceful, wildlife-friendly planting that thrives in sunny to part-sun conditions. Carex pennsylvanica blooms first in early spring, with subtle flowers above its fine, arching foliage that forms a soft, semi-evergreen ground cover, helping to suppress weeds and hold moisture. Allium cernuum follows in early to mid-summer, producing delicate, nodding pink flowers that attract bees, butterflies, and other pollinators. Their root systems are highly compatible. Carex spreads shallowly across the surface, while allium bulbs nest deeper into the soil, allowing both to thrive without competition. Both species offer excellent deer resistance, and together they create a low-maintenance, ecologically valuable planting that adds soft texture, seasonal interest, and pollinator support to the landscape. Allium cernuum, common name nodding onion, Asclepias tuberosa, or butterfly weed, Phlox subulata, or moss phlox, and Solidago savessalata, or autumn goldenrod, create a vibrant, pollinator-friendly planting that thrives in sunny to part-sun conditions. Phlox subulata blooms first in early spring, forming a dense evergreen carpet covered in bright flowers that suppress weeds. Allium cernuum follows in early to mid-summer, its nodding pink blooms attracting bees and butterflies. Asclepias tuberosa joins in with clusters of bright orange flowers that provide nectar for pollinators and food for monarch caterpillars. Solidago sphesalata finishes the season with golden blooms in late summer to fall, supporting late season pollinators. Their root systems are compatible. Phlox's shallow roots, Allium's bulbs, and the deeper fibrous roots of Asclepias and Solidago coexist well. All 4 species are highly deer resistant. Finally, let's take a look at how this could be constructed. The images that accompany show 4 steps in the process. Step 1 shows the circle as it might appear after this part of the site is cut down. The circle itself, the interior, will be at approximately the same grade as the gravel driveway that surrounds it. Step 2 shows large boulders that will likely be encountered during site grading at the house and along the drive. These boulders have been stored on the island by the site graders as they encounter them during site grading. Step 3 is created by the landscape contractor when they show up on site. The boulders are arranged and backfilled using available fill from site work elsewhere on site. Piping from the shallow pond to the fountain is set in place before burying it under rocks and boulder. Power and water lines are run from the house to the pump and lighting, if included, locations. Finally, step 4 is bringing soil amendment in as needed, installing the pump, fountain, and lighting, installing plants, mulching as needed, and by the paving contractor, finally paving the drive around the island.